I will give you the whole world.
I'm saddened by the fetish we've made out of cruelty,
Oh
and
God.
and 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 just on the sort of most basic level, I want to sort of say how unchristian can you be? Um, going back to our earlier conversation, I'm always hesitant to label sort of true Christianity from false Christianity because I think it sort of lets religion off the hook in some ways.
Yeah.
But
They almost take it as a challenge now too, right? Like if you say, "How cruel can you be?" Oh, we can be worse. Right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's just there is this kind of celebration, kind of perverse celebration of cruelty for cruelty's sake. Um, and in some ways, there will be sort of stories of things that are being sort of imagined actually happening, and we've kind of prepared our souls for it in some ways. So the shock and awe gets sort of lessened or domesticated somehow. And yeah, beyond sort of that, I don't have much to say. So just thinking about sort of what we know about historical Jesus and the Jesus movement as a counter-imperial movement, or at least elements of it being sort of counter-imperial movement, like the idea of the cross itself as a symbol of Roman imperial sort of violence, and the kind of painfulness of crucifixion as the kind of reveling in sort of Roman power over its subjects, right? And so this profound perverse reversal that's taken place, that the religion sort of lives in Jesus' name, is now the one reveling and making a fetish out of imperial violence, or out of state violence in this case. And that's where without sort of saying this is true Christianity and this is false Christianity, I think that there are resources within our religious traditions to say enough is enough, to say no to this, to point out the kind of the cognitive sort of disconnect between sort of what has long been sort of championed within these traditions about sort of liberation, about sort of solidarity, versus this brute and brutalizing sort of form of state power that is a perennial human temptation, right? We know that. This theater of cruelty and of the display of kind of power just for the sake of the display of power. I think I pray that one day that will be exposed. But for now, the kind of political winds are behind its back.
Yeah.
I mean, the old religious right evangelical playbook was still sort of mired in a kind of Protestant sensibility that was like, let's go back to the Bible. Sola Scriptura. And the Bible ultimately is our final authority. And maybe there were profound misreadings and misapplications of the Bible, right? But at least that was part of the sensibility. And there was an effort to kind of purify and reform the faith. That was part of the Protestant sensibility, or the evangelical sensibility. And a very sort of profound anti-institutionalism at the heart of that. A kind of distrust of power and distrust of human institutions, right? I think what's different now with the Christian nationalist is that they have basically said, like, it's not about, we don't want to go back to the Bible necessarily. We want to go back to Constantine. We want to go back to the days in which sort of Rome itself was converted to Christianity. And Christians began to realize what they could do with the backing of state power, or with the blessing of state power.
Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. Again the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. "All this I will give you," he said, "if you will bow down and worship me." Jesus said to him, "Away from me, Satan, for it is written, 'Worship the Lord your God, and serve him only.'"